You walk past a cat every day and think nothing of it. Maybe it ignores you. Maybe it knocks something off a shelf and stares at you while it does it. It feels ordinary, unremarkable. But there was a civilization that would have sentenced you to death just for accidentally harming one. And the real answer for why is far stranger than you probably think. To understand it, you have to go back roughly 4,000 years to one of the most powerful empires the ancient world had ever seen. Egypt, a civilization that built monuments so precise that modern engineers still argue about how they did it. A civilization obsessed with order, with death, with the divine. And somehow, at the center of all of it was a small, purring animal. But the story doesn't start with worship. It starts with grain. Ancient Egypt ran on agriculture. The Nile flooded every year, deposited rich soil, and farmers grew enormous quantities of wheat and barley that fed millions of people. That grain was stored in massive granaries, and wherever grain is stored, rodents follow. Mice, rats, animals that could devastate an entire food supply in weeks, which meant that whatever hunted rodents was, functionally, protecting civilization itself. That animal was the cat. Researchers studying ancient Egyptian settlements have traced domesticated cat remains back as far as 3600 BCE, making Egypt one of the earliest known sites of true cat domestication. The relationship wasn't accidental. Cats were drawn to the grain stores because the rodents were there. Humans noticed. Humans encouraged it. And over generations, something extraordinary happened. The cat stopped being just useful. It became sacred. But here's what most people miss. The reverence didn't just come from practicality. There was another layer to this. The Egyptians believed that the physical world and the divine world were constantly overlapping. That gods could inhabit animals. That protecting the wrong creature could mean offending a force powerful enough to end your entire family line. And cats were directly linked to one of the most important deities in the entire Egyptian pantheon, Bastet. Bastet was initially depicted as a lioness, fierce and dangerous, a protector who could also destroy. Over time, as domesticated cats became more central to Egyptian life, her image softened into the form of a cat or a woman with a cat's head. She represented fertility, the home, protection of the family, and the warmth of the sun. Households across Egypt kept small Bastet figurines. Temples were built in her honor. In the city of Bubastis, her primary cult center, annual festivals drew hundreds of thousands of pilgrims, making it one of the largest religious gatherings in the ancient world. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, who attended and documented the celebration himself, to harm a cat was not just a crime, it was a direct offense against the goddess, against the divine order, against everything that kept chaos from consuming the world. So what happened to people who killed cats? Ancient Egyptian legal texts and documented accounts describe the punishment as death. Not imprisonment, not exile, death. And it didn't matter whether the killing was intentional. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus recorded a specific incident where a Roman citizen accidentally killed a cat in Egypt. The crowd gathered. The Egyptian authorities could not stop what happened next. The man was killed by the mob before any formal punishment could even be applied. The story spread across the ancient world as a warning about just how seriously the Egyptians took this. There was one final piece that makes this even stranger. When cats died naturally, Egyptians mourned them like family members. Herodotus wrote that households would shave their eyebrows as a sign of grief when a cat died. The body would be embalmed, wrapped in linen, and buried with care. Archaeological excavations have uncovered enormous cat cemeteries, thousands of mummified cats preserved with the same level of intention given to human burials. Some were buried with small offerings. Some were placed in bronze coffins shaped like cats with golden faces. This wasn't superstition. It was a complete cosmological system. in which the boundary between animal and divine didn't really exist. And that leads to a question that historians and anthropologists like Melinda Zeder, who has spent decades studying animal domestication, have found genuinely difficult to untangle. Which came first, the practical value of the cat or the divine meaning the Egyptians projected onto it? Because the evidence suggests they evolved together, each one reinforcing the other, until a working animal became a god walking through your house. The twist is that it worked. Egypt's grain stores were protected. Famines that destroyed neighboring civilizations were blunted. A culture of extreme reverence for a single animal may have contributed to the stability of one of the longest-lasting empires in human history. Which raises an uncomfortable question for the modern world. You have roughly 600 million domestic cats alive on Earth right now. They are the second most popular pet on the planet. You follow them on social media, you build furniture for them, you film them and share the footage with strangers. You genuinely enjoy their company even when they refuse to acknowledge yours. The Egyptians would not find this strange at all. What they would find strange is that you do it without knowing why, without a framework, without understanding that this pull you feel toward a small, indifferent, purring animal has a history stretching back thousands of years, woven into the collapse and survival of entire civilizations. You walk past a cat every day and think nothing of it. But somewhere in that ordinary moment is a 4,000-year-old religion, a goddess, a granary, and the memory of a civilization that decided this creature was worth dying for.